Hello, hello. It's Dr. Pam here. I know I look like a stranger because you hadn't seen me in a while. I have not been around in a minute, but I'm kind of going back and forth between the screens. So, oh, and I should have turned this on vibrate, but I'm sorry for the noise. Um, but I am doing a 2021 check-in and giving you guys some updates. So I'm going to go on and introduce myself. I am Dr. Pam Middleton, your virtual holistic pediatrician. I help mothers raise healthy children using natural remedies and practices. So, what are the 2021 updates? Well, the updates, one big thing is there are going to be some changes. So, it's been kind of hit and miss with me, especially this year with coming on and doing the lives. So starting in February, hey, Kathy, how are you? So starting in February, I will be doing the first, the first, the first Wednesday of the month. I'll be doing a live just like this. But on the other Wednesdays, it's going to be like a pre-recorded. It's going to be a live that I've done in the past. So I've got a nice little series laid out for February. So next Wednesday, I'm going to be making an announcement about some upcoming new products that I'm going to have available. So that's going to be exciting. So you want to stay tuned. I'll be putting out, some little, you'll see something on Facebook about it beforehand, but it's going to be a little bit earlier than this. It's going to be at, 6 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. Okay. Now, what I'll be talking about for the rest of the month, the next three things are going to be videos that I put together a while back. I think now it's been probably almost 2 years, where it's called the McDonald's Experiment. So what I did is I created an experiment where I took a McDonald's Happy Meal, put it in a jar, a mason jar, and then I also had some fruit in another mason jar to use as a control, and I basically followed that. So what you're going to see next month is the second week of February will be like day one of my McDonald's challenge. Then the third week of February will be month one. And the fourth week of February will be month two. So you want to make sure that you're staying tuned for the lives. And if you're catching this on Instagram, I'm not sure if it's going to be on Instagram. I'm not really good with Instagram yet. So I don't know if I can schedule something to Instagram, but it's definitely going to be on Facebook. It'll definitely be on my Facebook page. I can't guarantee it's going to be, in my Facebook group. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the page. I'm going to try to put it on both, but if I can only get it on one, it'll probably go in the group. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is kind of just check in, see how everybody's doing, because, a lot's been going on. We're still obviously dealing with, the pandemic. And one thing that I do want to say about that, and you've been hearing it in the news, you've been hearing about, mental health and how people are really depressed. But as a pediatrician, what I want to say is that it is also happening in children. And it is especially happening in teenagers. So if you have a teenager, if you know a teenager, and even, with the kids, talk to your kids, find out how they're feeling about everything that's going on. And if you have a teenager, especially, you want to talk to your teens. And, you want to ask them how they're doing, what you can do to help them through this. If they need to get counseling, definitely get them counseling, okay? This is not the time to, hold on to old beliefs, old taboos about not seeking mental health treatment because, kids are killing themselves. Okay. Teenagers and kids are killing themselves. So you want to make sure that your child is not going to be suffering in silence. Okay. All right. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. If anybody on has any questions about anything, you can put it. Let me make sure that I'm looking at the comments. Okay, I don't see anything new, so I don't think I've missed any comments. And I'm going to go on and add my YouTube page up. So, because that's where all of my videos are. So, if you've kind of missed some Wellness Wednesdays and you've been wondering like what's going on, I have now put a lot of them on my YouTube page. So you can go there and you can find a lot of information on my YouTube page. So there it is, streaming along the bottom, youtube.com/Pam Middleton MD. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I see. Oh, hey, Mary, how are you? I owe you a call because I got some information for you. How's it going? What about vaccines? So you mean the vaccine for COVID for kids? What I can say about that is that it's not available yet for kids. It's actually the youngest you can give it right now are 16-year-olds. One of the vaccines is licensed for 16-year-olds and one is licensed for 18-year-olds right now. So yeah, the COVID vaccine. So for young kids, it's not licensed. They're actually doing some studies now with younger kids. So as of right now, no vaccines for kids. And what I suspect will happen is they are actually planning to eventually roll it out for children. But of course, the children are going to be after everybody else. And we all kind of see what's been going on with everybody else. So it's going to be a minute. Okay, sorry. So, first they have to figure out a way to get all of the grown people vaccinated. And hopefully by then they will have what they need to figure out if it's safe and effective for kids also. Okay. And suggestion for older folks. So yes, this is what I tell everybody. I can't tell you whether to take the vaccine or not, because I don't know what your health history may be. But one of the things I tell people to do is, talk to your doctor about if you are a good candidate. But the other thing that I've been telling people is, as with anything else, with any other vaccine or any medication, it's risk versus benefits. Okay. So you have to look at the risk versus the benefit of, getting the vaccine or getting COVID. So, that the worst case scenario that can happen is you can contract COVID and you can die. So then when you look at, your reasons maybe for not, say, getting the vaccine, if it's because you're afraid of certain side effects, and what people consider side effects. I mean, let's just be honest. If somebody sticks a needle in your arm, it's going to hurt. You got to poke there. You're going to be sore. It's going to be tender. Those I don't necessarily consider side effects. I consider that's what happens. Somebody stuck a needle in your arm. Okay. And so Kathy was asking, is it still experimental? No, it actually is not experimental, because what happened with this vaccine is that, as you've heard before, SARS has been here a long time. So there have been studies being done with SARS before. So this particular strain, yes, this is the first time that they've actually done something for this strain, because this strain just started. But they were actually doing some experimenting before. And, I've gotten on some conference calls. I admit I haven't dug deep into the research, but some of my colleagues colleagues, especially some who are in infectious disease or immunology. I trust what they say. And, they have looked at it. And like I said, once again, risk versus benefits. So if you're in a high risk group and you may die from COVID, then you have to think of, okay, so what am I worried about with the vaccine? Okay. Yeah, and I saw that, and we do not know why Hank Aaron died. I know a lot of my colleagues saw that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to make people really paranoid." So I don't know anything about what happened with Hank Aaron other than what you just wrote, Mary. He did take the vaccine and he did die. Of course, he was not a young man, so I don't know if he would have died before. I don't know. So I don't even try to get into that. And, I don't get into debates with people. You actually just, make an informed decision. And if you have questions, whenever, and I don't think I posted it here, but it's, they're still doing, a lot of the churches are doing, they're having Q&As, different people are doing panels where you're getting like infectious disease or certain specialists that come on and they talk about the vaccine and they answer people's questions, like some of the questions that you guys are bringing up, like Kathy asking if it's still experimental. Are people dying? And honestly, you know what? Y'all know me. I'm a straight shooter, and I'm just going to tell you what's what. So certain things will happen. You can look at the vaccine as a drug. So if a certain amount of people get vaccinated, a certain amount of people are going to have bad side effects. Okay. And that's just, oh, thank you, Mary. That's just how things go. Even, for a lot of medications that don't bother most people, you're going to have a percentage of people that those medications they're going to have a bad outcome with. So, I'm not going to tell you that everybody who takes the vaccine is going to be perfectly fine because I can't possibly know that. So like I said, you just have to look at risk versus benefits. Now, I will say that, my 89-year-old father got the vaccine and he did fine. But of course, when we look at risk versus benefits, my father has some underlying medical problems. He's on dialysis. So if my father gets COVID, it will more than likely kill him. So for him, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's like, so you get the COVID vaccine, or if you get COVID, you will probably die. So it wasn't too difficult to make that decision, for him. And, so Mary, when you asked about older folks, that's one of the things that we look at. Okay. When you're talking about the older folks, is like, what's your risk of surviving COVID? So then, we're not going to worry about something that may or may not happen with the vaccine. If, on the other hand, you could end up getting COVID and dying. Okay. All right. So with that, remember, starting next week, I'm going to be making an announcement about some new products coming up. And then for the rest of the month, there'll be a video. The first video series for February is going to be my McDonald's experiments. Okay. So stay tuned next week. Look for me to talk about, I'll be putting something out about the times to remind you. Okay. All right. Hey, Gabby. And let's see who else I'm seeing. I'm ignoring. I don't mean to ignore my folks on Instagram. Let me see. And Liam. Okay. And see, it's hard on Instagram. You guys have these different names. Rothwell Style. Hey. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I am Dr. Pam Middleton, your virtual holistic pediatrician. I help mothers raise healthy children using natural remedies and practices. You guys take care and you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.